Like,
Is it record? I don't think it's recording. Wait a minute. Stop recording. Okay, start recording. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you're good.
Cancel. Wait a minute. Is it still recording? Has started. Cool.
sorry, I'm terrible. What's your name?
Jay.
How do I bring this up to the full screen and not Connor? No, no offense, Connor.
None taken.
Okay, where? No, are you sure? No, I want these. I want this one up there. That's what I'm saying. Anybody?
You wanna see the smaller window bigger?
Yeah,
If you click on it, right click on it,
on it.
it should be able to give you an option to pin it. Or spotlight one of those, that makes it,
Pin for me. You should have
Well,
mentioned
Spotlight for everyone, maybe.
Version 91 is Medic 91, you're gonna be around 29,917, 20, 32, these for
it. I don't think that helps.
if I go to the back door. These ones,
Mm-hmm. I'm doing all fine. I'm just, all you do is you just start clicking things and they'll make it happen. Did the camera go off?
You should.
Hi, Mohammed.
I think there where it says view in
What's up?
the middle. That might be the box that click there. And then you want to have your, yeah, you got downwards together. Up there. Maybe. No, maybe not.
Oh my God.
Oh, that it?
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Oh, what?
I don't know how you, okay, well, I don't know. Now we've done something funky.
It might be gallery, check the top one.
Okay, maybe this is, hi, Alex. Hi, Connor.
Congratulations again, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Are you sleeping yet?
Nope.
Good.
I guess that means we're doing it right.
Just had a baby.
I know.
Does anybody know where Cheryl's at?
Mm-mm.
Can everybody hear? Oh, I think I see, hear Cheryl. Hold on a second. And then I'll let Mohammed start this. What's your last turn? Hi, Cheryl.
But I got you set up all the way over here.
He was here, but in case I have to leave,
Hi.
And have you and Cheryl met? Yes. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, where's the board president going?
Have we started?
We're getting ready to start.
Okay, I'm gonna say, cause if that's what we're hearing on.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep, you ready to call the meeting to order?
I'm gonna call the Portage Township meeting of October 15th, 2024 to order. President, Muhammad's president. And President.
Girl present.
So, want to hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion we improve the agenda.
Our agenda is approved. Approval of our minutes from the last meeting.
We should have them there in your packet, and I'll have this one if you guys assign in the September 9th meeting.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Ryan, got questions?
Any questions, Ryan?
I think I did. All right, I heard a motion to approve those.
I second. So who's
I'll
on the
motion.
phone?
No, it's Alex Bowman, our attorney.
Okay, cause I can't hear a word they're saying.
Oh, you.
Oh, they're not.
That's the radio.
Oh, okay.
So do we have any public comment?
Okay.
So new business.
So first, we have the 2024 resolution rejecting merit board. We have, for the first year, right, of the new St. Joe County Fire Territory?
Actually, you reject it, you have to take a different resolution to opt in later. So it's a resolution to reject, well, if we don't reject, it would be automatic.
Okay.
But we're required to do it in the future.
No.
Oh, I thought it was required.
No, we actually, we went to a long, I guess, meeting on it, had a workshop on it last night. So once we reject it, then next year we can actually vote back into it if we'd like. And actually, typically anywhere after one calendar year, we can vote into it at any point we'd like. It's just, this is an initial rejection.
The state took a position that if you don't do anything, by default, you get it.
Right.
Yeah, so you have the option to say, we don't want the new state merit board, which is what our opinion is for our first year. We got enough new stuff that we're doing. Let's not also add doing the merit board. And then to your point, Ryan, we could always opt in.
Yeah, and we could opt in. That could be something that would probably be worked out between union and the territory board then at that point, as far as opting back in at a future time. The only thing is it does guarantee when we opt out, that it's a 1 year opt out, no matter what.
So you'd
After
have
that,
to opt out again.
No, after 1 year, we then, at any point, we can revisit. It's just a guaranteed 1 year opt out.
Okay, where I got confused was, other than you got a whole bunch of other stuff, what's the main reason, other than that, for opting out? What's the advantage?
So some of it is with the merit board and we, some of the things we learned, especially last night,
Actually,
was,
hold on, have you both been in the discussions about the merit board? Do you know what it is and how it?
I don't know how it operates.
Yeah, so maybe we
Okay.
can start there.
so I guess we'll start there. So the merit board controls your hiring,
Mm-hmm,
your promotions,
Mhm.
disciplinary actions, or potentially even termination. It
mm-hmm.
would all go through the merit board.
Which is convened by state law?
So it would be convened by, I have it wrote down, it's Indiana code, or Indiana, 1016. That is their resolution that is requiring the merit law to go through to start in 2025.
Okay, and so who selects who's on the merit board?
So the merit board would be the territory board. And
Okay,
then the union would be able to select 2 additional representatives to be on the merit board. It has to be from different political parties.
okay,
So it'd be a total of a board of 7.
okay, so it would be how many union members?
It wouldn't even be, it could not be union members. It would have to be someone from the public we serve. But they would be
From each
appointed.
party,
They'd be
right?
selected by.
Okay,
They would be
okay,
selected by
okay.
the union.
Okay, I got you.
And then what they do is they control the hiring, like I said, promotions, disciplinary actions greater than 40 hours and any terminations with it.
And part of that merit board, then not just control the hiring, they run the hiring
Yes,
process.
they would run
They determine what the rules and requirements are to be hired, and they
Mhm.
actually administer
Yeah,
that hiring. They come up with a list of candidates.
okay.
Yeah.
And so would they be the ones that would decide how you go about advertising for employees?
That'd be part of the hiring process.
And so if we opt out of this, then what happens? Who makes the decisions if, who would make the decision that the merit board would make if we opt out of this?
ultimately come down to the territory board and the fire chief.
Correct.
So does that mean the hiring process then goes through the territory board? All of us, or is it?
So the 5 that are on the territory board, the fire department still reports to that territory board.
Mhm.
So if you're gonna go out and hire somebody, you're gonna have to get budgetary approval for that position. The difference would be is that the fire department would administer, which it could be a third party, it could be anything, but the fire department would run a selection process, whether it's a written test, physical test, whatever it is. and then would present, hey, here's our list of people that have passed the process to be hired. Versus instead of the fire department doing it, the merit board system would do it if you have a merit board.
So without the merit board, we need to establish a separate hiring process.
With the merit board, we'd have to establish a specific hiring process that they would. Without the merit board, I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't, when you say establish, I guess I'm trying to process.
Well, I mean, you have to have, like, makes the ultimate decision for hiring, like, who does it go in front of before it's approved? Same thing with disciplinary methods, I'm guessing. Like, that processes.
That flows up through our territory board.
Okay,
So the territory board is still a large component of the merit
Mhm.
board. It's just with the merit board, you do add 2 additional board members to that.
That come from where?
Just
The public.
The public,
that are
okay.
appointed by
and
the
one from
mayor.
each party,
Yeah.
yes.
I guess I'm still having trouble understanding how this is gonna be so much more burdensome
Go down
to
the merit board.
postpone it for a year. That's what I'm not understanding.
I won't speak for
Right.
county, or Chief County, but I would assume that part of it has to do with like the establishment of the 77 fund and just the establishment of the whole fire territory. It's just one of these items that for 1 year they'd like to, set aside.
I'm still having trouble understanding
The
how.
timelines of when it would have to be done, and, yeah, you correct me wrong from our session even last night, but, so there's some things that would have to be done by March. So,
Okay.
to not put Ryan on the spot, but let's say he represents the territory board, they would have to go and figure out how to do all that. It wouldn't even be on me, Lana, or Jay to do that. So if somebody is just now getting into understanding even the dynamics of the fire service or the fire department, and now you have to establish the rules of how you're going to hire your next group of people and establish your next promotion, that becomes the newly formed territory board who
Uh-huh.
just started meeting. And that's where it's kind of like, okay, not only are you guys just beginning to work together now in this territory, you now have to establish this
we have to have a
system.
meeting for every hire, right? In that case.
Okay, you'd have a meeting for every
Yeah,
hire.
You would have,
Every
you would have
hire,
a lot
every
more.
promotion.
Yeah,
We'd establish
Every
a list.
concern.
right.
So, yeah, while we are initially staffing up, it
Okay.
will be a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the intent of the merit system was where you have some departments that historically are a very good old boy network.
Right,
The state says, no more. This is actually pushed by the union,
right.
the Indiana, firefighters union.
Yeah, which is kind of
Which-
funny because it backfired on them because a lot of departments are actually going,
No,
no,
we-
we don't want to do this.
Yeah,
Because then, so what happens is, it's a vote by the board, and then it's
Uh-huh.
also a vote by the body of the union.
Okay,
And that vote then determines, because if either one,
determines who's gonna be on the board?
no, if it determines if we have the board. If, so like, you guys would make a vote, and then the next phase, it would go to our union to then make a vote.
And what if we disagree?
If you disagree, you automatically have to have it. There is no option, different option, I guess, for that.
and one of the things that's a little confusing here is the fire territory board actually already voted to reject it.
Okay,
But it's a little vague, and maybe Alex, he wants to chime in, because since the territory board and the township Portage as the provider unit, it's sometimes gray, is it your responsibility as a provider unit, or is it the territory board? And from our meeting last night, I think it's more the territory board's responsibility, because they're the governing unit of it.
uh-huh.
And they've actually already voted to reject it.
What's the law say?
What- The law says it's the governing body of the territory, which would be our territory board.
Okay,
And so they voted to reject it, but then in talking with Alex, he said, just to make sure we've crossed our Ts and dotted the Is for the state, we should probably have also the provider unit take the same action, so as some of the, learning maybe how the territory legally functions and forms, if they come back and say, well, no, your provider unit do it, they need to do it, we thought, okay, well, let's have both
Okay,
entities reject the same thing
okay.
and go that direction.
So, the reason, as you said, merit boards were created to avoid the old boy network. So tell me how y'all gonna avoid the old boy network?
We work well together with our union.
Yeah, I think-
We have a,
And one of the things we did establish in our union contract, Ryan has seen it, is we have established quarterly set up management, labor, union, and pretty much the chief.
I'm more interested in how you advertise your positions,
So
that you have
Cheryl-
openings.
Cheryl wants to make sure that our hirings are diverse and including different groups and making sure it's not all coming from the same pool of people.
No, I understand that. And a lot of those is mass put out, I can tell you, so we put them out on our Facebooks and those kind of
Mhm.
things. And.
The union Facebook or the
It's been out on the
territory?
department. It's been out on the territory. Facebook.
Okay.
I will tell you, our union does not have a Facebook.
Okay,
We started that one time. It was too much back and forth. I think now that we're growing, we'd
mhm,
like to probably do that, but
okay,
it was literally us just posting the same stuff, so
yeah,
the department has had one now. As well as we do post it into, 1-800 Board Up has a monthly newsletter.
who's
We
that
post it out.
again?
It's a local service.
Blue Star.
Yeah, I guess Blue Star is now the name. It's, not Super Pro.
Blue Sky, they're a business restoration company.
Yeah. And they post something that goes to all fire departments and everything around the area,
Okay.
people that are interested in the fire service.
Okay.
A lot of, with the past, it's been word of mouth.
Mhm.
I know we're open to get it out there as much as possible, just because we want the best applicants there is, and we wanna.
And we're willing to if there's a source that you know that
Yeah.
works well, getting applicants, like every business is a challenge.
Mhm.
Hey, we want to advertise, yeah, we'll put that advertisement out in any mode possible. We do it as many different ways as we can now. They come up and say, hey, this is the way to get it out there. Hey, here's our
Okay.
requirements to put it out there.
Okay,
So we actually adopted a policy requiring posting in some different papers and having it posted with different organizations around town. So that might be something we can share with.
Yeah.
We'd be more than open, because the more applicants, the better. I mean,
Right.
I'm a firm believer in the more people we can get apply. And Chief Downey can attest to this. We've struggled in the past, and every fire department has.
yeah, and I know fire departments are having trouble coming up with people,
Mhm.
so I understand that. And, out of curiosity, I know that the Ivy Tech college system has some things on fire or something. Do you send notices to the ones that are not in South Bend, but to the campuses that do offer fire safety or whatever they call it?
I don't know if all the campuses do, but I know we've gone to their classes in the past and we give them postings to post. I don't know if we did on this go around when we just did our initial hiring now, but I've gone to those classes and would continue to go to those. Same thing with the CTE programs that they have out there.
Mhm.
We go to those same programs.
But I'm thinking about ones in other Ivy Tech locations.
We're not opposed to going to them. It's just probably just a matter of, so the answer to say yes.
Well, I'm not even saying go to them, I'm just saying, send
If
to the
it's given,
career center
Yeah.
and then
do
send to the head of that department
One other
that
thing
you have openings.
we also do with the South Bend CTE program that they run. They actually come out and train with our department every year. So again, that's where we go out and recruit from them to say, look, this is where you could get into the process of that. But
Okay.
we try to get out there and get the recruits as much as we
Yeah.
can.
I mean, I guess, since I'm doing all the talking, I guess I can see it as long as for this year, you send it to the places that we send our stuff.
We can.
And I would very much like every Ivy Tech or if it's Vincennes University, wherever they are, that each of those universities or colleges get to the careers office and then to the chairperson of that committee or department, you know, cause I don't know.
I think it's a great idea.
And
agree.
to all of them, that
Yeah.
you all send openings. I don't
Yeah.
expect you to go there.
Sure.
Okay, just send an opening that I could vote it for a year.
Mhm.
If you don't, then I can't vote it for a
Yeah.
year. I have a real concern, and this is probably not y'all's fault, but I didn't think that the Center Township made any efforts to attract diverse people.
Mhm.
Okay, I always felt that it was an old boy network. I was on their board for a while
Sure.
too. Ryan saved me.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, and my commitment would be that, yeah, we would use any, if it's Vincennes, if it's Ivy Tech, if it's the CTE programs, whether it's South Bend, Elkhart.
Yeah.
All those are places that, of sending them our notice to say, hey, look, we're hiring, here's
Yeah.
what we can do. The more we can do with that, just the better off.
Because I think,
And the salary is enough to attract people
right,
compared to.
yeah, but two it was at the other place.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all got any questions? Cause I've been doing all that.
No, I mean, so when I voted to form this thing, I was specifically looking at firefighters, talking to the firefighters, right? Don't need to talk to the media, having conversations with them. What do y'all think, right? And so firefighters, like, we can do without this for a year. My vote is to confirm that.
Yeah. So Ryan, you got any stuff you wanna ask?
I mean, that was part of the initial discussion with it. Like my understanding was different though, because the change on it not applying necessarily. I would potentially suggest that we include, in the resolution, a requirement to revisit it in a year.
I would be fine with sitting down and revisiting it, yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, since it, like, I thought that was initially required, so.
And I will say, we did too. That was,
Yeah,
I was
no,
not
that
trying to mislead. Yesterday was a complete learning experience for us.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it.
And part of this is truthfully, up until we formed this territory, we were under the cap of personnel.
Uh-huh,
So the merit board didn't mean anything to
right.
us. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, you got this, and you have to abide by these rules, and so some of those things were a big learning curve for
Right.
myself, Steve, and Sammy last night of, oh, there's a lot more to this.
And some of the things that we do, you know, there's one department in the area that has used it a little bit. And I think going over and meeting with them folks and find out what works or doesn't work when they begin to set up their merit rules, because
Mhm,
part of what you have to do is when you set up your merit board, now set up your merit rules.
right,
If you have nothing to go from, what's the
Right.
boilerplate to start?
Yeah.
Well, and that's when we talk about having the time to do that right, which say, hey,
and that
What-
makes sense to me.
let's go and meet some people that are union likes the merit board.
Right.
Find out, hey, what works for you guys,
Right.
and incorporate that.
And that
into what we
makes sense
do.
to me. And like I said, my really concern is that, you know, we move past, kind of, you know, like the other places, because there may be people taking the fire, getting an associate degree in
Mhm.
fireness. I make words up.
Sure.
Okay, who could be coming from Indianapolis,
Mhm.
or if you go over to Hammond and all those places, there are tons of Hispanics over there, and there might be a Hispanic person who's graduated from the Ivy Tech program.
Sure.
And so that's why I mentioned, I really want to make sure we send to Ivy Tech, both the Career Center and the head of that department,
Yeah.
announcements, and I'm fine. You want me to make a motion?
I'll motion to
Okay.
approve with the discussed amendment.
Okay, so I second the motion.
All right, so resolution 26/2024 is passed.
Okay,
Moving on to resolution 27/2024.
Approving and closing of this building, 340, the sale.
Not to be rude at all, but obviously we don't, the rest of the meeting, we don't need to be here for.
no, we don't,
Me and
we
Jared
want you to go fight
go back,
fire.
We're both on
do that, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ransom.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you. And Ryan, if you definitely get us those resources on where to send, where you guys send stuff to.
Yeah.
So we have that. Obviously, we're not hiring right now, but.
Part of it was just trying to identify places where people might not have access to the network, right?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Since I was late, can I ask who you are?
Yes, I'm Andrew Eichen with Senator Dalton Municipal Advisors, and I'm here in a little bit. We'll go over the resolution, which is just a component of the access levy appeal that we've been working with Jason to
Okay,
get together, and we're planning on submitting that tomorrow. So,
okay, gotcha.
I'm glad you asked that question so I can go grab another sucker, you know.
So your next resolution, and I don't know if Alex needs to chime in at all about this. This is just the formality of, approving the resolution to moving ahead with the, closing on this property.
Building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make, if I may make one comment, on the, throw some video on here. On the resolution itself, you'll see in the body of the resolution, there's a reference, and I believe it's section 4 of the resolution, section 4, section 5, that references specific dollar amounts. My recommendation to the board, and I'll preface this by saying there's been some, evolving matters relating to the building, and so my recommendation would be for the board to amend the resolution slightly to reference the purchase prices as an amount being up to that amount. Only because we haven't closed yet, and as things remain in flux, I don't want my recommendation would be that.
I don't see a dollar amount.
Alex,
listed in the resolution.
Alex, I don't see a dollar amount on this resolution. Did
Oh,
this
good.
27?
Okay. Then good, I
Okay,
took it
yeah.
out. That's the, this is pregnancy brain, I guess.
And,
That's what I said, like, that's what you want me to turn
It's
into?
okay, it's okay.
So
And-
there was, in an initial draft of the resolution that we prepared, there was a reference to dollar amounts. So I'm glad I've resolved my own issue without wasting too much more of your time. But yes, otherwise the resolution that you have before you is essentially a formality. The board, back with resolution 08/2024, approved the transaction that's contemplated here, the purchase of the building, at the purchase price that's stated in the purchase agreement. So the township has been duly authorized to execute this transaction. This, as we've concluded due diligence, this is really the board's kind of final sign off on telling the world that the township's ready to move forward with the purchase.
Is there a reference to so it says subject to the terms and conditions set forth in the purchase agreement related documents. Does that include the pricing limit? Like up to, sorry.
Well,
Like, does that reference a specific price that we are up to
Yeah.
pay?
So the purchase agreement itself states that the purchase price for the real estate is 2.15 million. That's the average of or 2.2, yeah,
2.15,
2.1
yeah.
million. 2.1 million, which is the average of the two appraisals. And then there is a value for the personal property in the building. That's $49,000. Both of those are
Mhm.
included in that 08/2024 resolution. And that's what's in the purchase agreement.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, Friday, we talked about having an escrow account
Yes.
in case the former gas station causes some problems. Is that in, because we did the purchase agreement, I think, before you knew about the gas station.
Right.
That's correct. So there's some historical use for this property that included that gas station there that would have been right along Lincoln Way back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. What that escrow agreement contemplates is an amount from the purchase price is set
Mhm.
aside to be used for environmental remediation to the extent that any is necessary.
Okay, now, but is that written someplace?
That is
that the guy
that's
agreed to.
yeah. So what that, the way that gets brought into the deal, the purchase agreement states that if a phase one environmental study is done, and if that reveals any known environmental conditions, so recognized environmental conditions, that the parties would enter into a subsequent agreement to address those known conditions, and that's what that escrow agreement is. So it is directly referenced in the purchase agreement itself, and then the escrow agreement's a standalone agreement.
Okay, and so let's say we find out it's gonna cost, I don't know, a high number to fix whatever was over there, and he doesn't wanna do that, then what happens? Is the purchase agreement null and void?
It's certainly that certainly could be the position we take. That there is a part of it's the negotiation. We don't anticipate, based upon the conversations we've had with the environmental consultants, we don't anticipate
Mhm.
that there is an issue. But under applicable state and federal law, when you're aware of this type of issue, just if a
Mhm.
historical use like this, um, you're obliged to do some additional investigation. And so
Okay.
that's to help ensure that the township has appropriate defenses under state and federal law for being a bona fide purchaser, basically. So you've done all your diligence and you bought it knowing what the issues were. If you don't do that, the law isn't so kind and will stick you with those issues if you didn't do the proper investigation.
Okay. This is a minor thing, but how much of the parking lot will belong to us?
So, um, well, you'd have to. It's tough to really describe. You'd have to kind of look at the parcel on a map. I mean, it's a pretty sizable parking lot. It's
Okay.
pretty much if you walk out of the building, if you walk straight forward, and there's kind of that barrier that's maybe I don't know,
Mhm.
100 and 120 feet. That's
Mhm.
essentially the end of the township's parking lot parcel.
Okay.
So on the other side where we park, so everywhere that we did a closed drive, that's all our.
That was the parking, and also on the opposite side leading up to Jim Masters building.
Okay.
All of that parking, when you walk out and you look right, that's the part Mom is talking about.
Okay.
And then you look to the left right there, that's still part of the
Okay.
building.
Okay.
All of that goes back. I think I'm saying
Okay.
that right, Alex?
Yeah. Okay.
That's,
Is
yeah, I
our
think
That's a
parking
good
lot.
amount.
Yeah.
I think that's accurate. Now, I will.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obliged to make you aware that Friday the city of South Bend filed an action in eminent domain to condemn those two parking lot parcels. The township is not a named defendant in that. Um, we just received a copy of the complaint yesterday morning. I received a copy of the complaint yesterday morning. Um, I'm evaluating that. We're looking at the issues and how it, how to, and to what extent it affects the township's ability. Well, it doesn't really affect the township's ability to purchase the property, but what the impact could be uh, with that suit pending. Um, so it's something that's in the early stages. To the extent that the township gets involved in that litigation, that's something I'd recommend that we meet in executive session to discuss. But at this point, the township isn't a party. But those are the way that the cards have been played by the city at this point.
So when the city did what they did, it wasn't against us because we don't own it technically, right?
That's
It was
correct. That's
against the
correct.
owner that we're trying to buy from?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Hmm.
Can they do that with an initial, um, intent, the LOI or whatever the intent to purchase? Can they do that when there's something locked in like that? Just curious.
It's a great question, and it probably goes more to the township's potential defenses or how the township would interpret this type of claim. It doesn't preclude them from filing this type of action. But again, it's because it's active litigation at this point. I think from a public meeting standpoint, we should tread softly in how we
Sure.
discuss it. To the extent that the township needs to assert any claims or defend its interests, we'll meet in executive session. We can talk about it further.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, so
So,
since there's no dollar amount in this thing.
But we know how much we are going to not go over or
Right,
pay.
right.
I'll motion to go ahead and accept the resolution 27-2024.
I second.
So resolution 27-2024 is passed.
Okay.
So
Thank you, board.
resolution 28-2024.
I don't know
Are
if
you
you need me
hanging
for
up
anything
now?
else. I'm happy to hop off unless you have any other questions.
I don't think so unless you want to hear about our excess levy appeal.
I'm for it. I'm for it.
Sweet.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right,
All right.
Alex.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
Sweet. So yeah, as I kind of introduced myself, I'm Andrew Eichman with Center Dalton Municipal Advisors. I'm not sure, maybe some of you guys are familiar with my boss, Steve Dalton. He's unavailable this evening, so I'm kind of here to fill in. Essentially this resolution, Jason had approached Steve and I a few months ago.
Can I stop you just right quick?
Mhm.
Okay, cause we are talking about this trustee office, not the old trustee office.
Yeah, but
That
you
is-
should be on this sheet, not that
Oh,
one.
Yeah.
okay.
Wait,
It might be under the,
does she have, or is it?
yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, I have that one.
Which one is it?
Okay. So these two sheets I'm supposed to be looking at.
Just.
No,
this
just
one.
that one. That one I'll explain next.
Okay,
That one I'm gonna go over next.
Yeah, just the resolution.
okay,
Make sure everyone has it in the packet before.
okay.
Uh-oh.
That's fine.
Sam? Hold
And
on.
it's only this
Right.
sheet I'm supposed to be looking at, right?
Yep, just that sheet right now. And that's what Andrew's gonna explain that. And,
Okay,
because you know that this township, we're going for an excess levy appeal to
right,
have the dream budget of doing things like being able to, be able to give out the assistance we should, because there are stats and numbers in here that Jason provided that Andrew's gonna talk
Right.
about that. We're
I know there are other townships in Indiana that do better than us.
100%, and that's one component. Another component is to have an SSI
Person I met.
designee, or what do they call, or
A rep.
rep,
Social Security rep.
to do, I was just gonna give her a few,
Yeah.
just to refresh.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
Inspections.
Home inspections and that's
Right,
what's all
the
a
stuff
part
we
of this
talked about
package,
before.
100%. So
Okay.
now,
Right.
Right.
And-
sorry,
Yeah, I kind of explained, I guess, kind of what some of the rationale behind this levy appeal is, so that the township can provide the assistance that is requested by its residents, and kind of some of what he, kind of a big packet we put together, but in some of our detail or supporting documents, we've included detailed reports of showing that the township residents are requesting certain amounts of assistance and that the
Can do it.
township
we
is
have like
unable to
limits,
support that. Right.
basically.
Can I just look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Go through there.
Like, like Cheryl, like the maximum, rental assistance we can give, it starts at 350 to 700.
Right.
Most people, even in the inner city, are paying $1,000 to $1,300 a
Well,
month.
and you know, my
So-
thing about renting rooms.
Yeah.
Rooms are going for 500 now. and
Exactly,
When
that-
we're
yeah.
paying what, 100?
Exactly, that's what I mean, we can't meet that, and we can't meet, they have to go to other, a lot of times we give them a referral then to move on to find another, source of, assistance for their rent. Same with like their utilities, a lot of times
Yeah.
we cap them off around $200 right now, so we don't run out of funds. Occasionally, we have special cases
Right.
where, the senior caseworker working with me and, Jason deemed that maybe, there's a guy that's on oxygen or so. I know they're not
Yeah.
allowed to shut them up, but there's critical cases where we see the need, and sometimes we do a special, but overall, we can't do that. We have to
Right.
stay around 200 for water, gas, or electric. So this is kind of
Right.
doing some of that.
So I'm looking at page 7, which seems to be the page for justification, because I see full utility assistance, full shelter,
Mhm.
social security designee program, pay rep, that's what the
Right,
technical
which is
term.
very important to
Pay
this
rep.
community we need.
Okay. You guys go ahead and grab questions, I'm just reading it.
I'm waiting on you to read it. I'm just like, okay. Not that, we talked about most of this.
Okay, and yeah, and Portage Manor Cemetery,
Mhm.
Correct, we have the Portage Manor Cemetery.
and then the new senior center that we're working on.
Correct.
And there could possibly be another cemetery, right?
Possibly on the, was it west side, I think Jason said that somebody had,
Somebody's.
there was another, it was kind of on, I feel like it was on the west
I
side.
think it's on the west side.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility of a second cemetery that we would be put under our care.
Right,
So,
because
yeah.
it's like,
Oh, yeah, it's on the west side. It's out there by that church. It's right inside.
I think
of
so, yeah.
Portage Township.
right,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming it's one of those cemeteries that's kind of being abandoned because whoever started it is no longer here.
Exactly, and nobody
And they're
cares,
not
it's-
collecting any money because they're not selling any more plots.
Exactly. You
Okay.
already know, Shirley, yes, you
So
do.
how
Okay.
much is the difference from what we were assigned versus what the appeal was for?
Are you-
I'll have to look at the figures. I think it was like a million, it was,
Is this a
Million.
public document?
That is not, no.
Okay, not a public document.
I'd have to go in and look at what they.
So the public couldn't see it.
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just asking because it tells who we helped.
Right,
In
yeah,
that
no,
document,
yeah,
right.
it's not gonna be published
Yeah, it's
anywhere,
personal
right.
information.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me skip past that. Y'all keep talking.
Ryan, what was your question? The difference?
Between
Yeah.
what our budget would
Like-
be,
What is the budget that was approved versus what are we appealing to? Because that's the process right now, right?
right, but, and our budget
assigned
actually
the-
technically has not been approved yet, right? Am I saying that right?
Right, well, we submitted some for it, and part of when we submitted the budget, the levy appeal was built into the budget as part of the levy we would be receiving, and that's
Right.
part of the process for submitting this appeal. Is the appeal is kind of advertised along with the budget. If that gives clarification.
Right.
Okay, and there you go. I'm slow
I
moving.
wanted to see, do you remember?
Okay,
That's
now-
this part where.
tell me what y'all do to help us get this passed.
So kind of for this resolution, as part of our submission, there just has to be a resolution that says that the board is authorizing the trustee to submit this to the DLGF.
And y'all put that together, or did we put it? together?
We put this document together,
Okay.
yes. So with that resolution, we just essentially need your signatures, and then we would stick that into this appeal packet. You'll see we have the
Okay.
blank placeholder for now. And then this certification Jason did sign, which
Sure.
Lana provided a copy with, so we'll get the signed documents in there, and then we will submit it to the DLGF.
Yep, and then we go back to praying, Cheryl, to sound, not to sound.
Wait, say it
We
again.
go back to praying then for this. I feel very positive and hopeful too, and Andrew can tell you, and Jason can tell you that I'm like, well, how do we get this passed? Do we need to go down there? You probably could go with me. We'd just be passionate with them. But yeah, we just have to hope that the case is made obviously really well. Why this is needed and.
Now, is there a hearing process where Jason has to go or anything like that?
Not that we are aware of. Like I said, any sort of like hearing, the levy appeal amounts were advertised in the budget, so I guess the public hearing for the budget would have kind of counted as the public hearing you'd need for something like this.
The reason I'm asking is, the way people are today, okay, if you say you're increasing
Mhm.
something
think their
that's
stuff
at
is-
2 pennies,
Right.
they're upset.
Mhm.
And the reason I'm just asking, is there a place Jason can visit? Like, I'm the one that's passionate about the Social Security pay representative
Mhm.
and just looking at that, I don't, go back to that section for me. I just don't think unless you know how that whole system works
Mhm.
and would you understand how critical it is? Let me just.
Would they ever ask for input? Cause I'm new to this situation, process too. After reviewing.
I think it's a
this,
really
would the
good
DLGF
document.
ever wanna say, we'd like to have, even if it's like a phone or a Zoom conference or something, a meeting set up with the board and or the trustee, would they ever?
Can I
or
see
is
that
it just-
section right
That
quick?
is
Would they
something,
ask for any clarifications? Would they,
it is possible, and that's where I believe the DLGF representative, that'd be a question that I would ask them, or if they were to
yeah.
give some sort of input, they would reflect that back to us.
Because I guess my concern, again, this is my pet project,
Mhm.
with number 3 is, I could see someone saying, well, who does the representation now?
Mhm.
Well, it's usually a family member or a
Mhm.
friend.
Mhm. Right.
And
But that's-
or like if you're developmentally disabled and you're connected with Logan does it.
Right.
You know, if you're mentally ill bad enough, then Oakland, if you're their client. But there are people who fall in between
Mhm.
that aren't their clients. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I guess my.
And I guess this doesn't really tell how people have been exploited. And by their relatives who are payees, by friends who are payees.
I understand.
And I guess that's my only worry. I'm just thinking about people are going to say, oh, you're raising my taxes, blah, blah, blah. And for what? For something that other people can do. I don't know.
Right. And I guess for understanding, I guess with that position, and I can kind of explain my understanding is with the social security designee, it's essentially if someone is unable to properly manage their social security, that's where they would elect maybe a family member or someone
Right,
where they would do that on their behalf as like kind of a fiduciary.
right.
And so what you're saying is you're worried or
I'm worried they'll think, well, you don't need that because family members can do it. Except you
Right.
have to, I do a lot of volunteer work and I get calls at least 2 to 3 times a year about my sister is using our brother's social security for herself. She's not really using it for him.
right. So it's more of worried about like unethical practices.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Sometimes you run into
You
payees.
want to be able to convey to the DLGF. like
And I
how
just want
important it
them
is
to
that there's somebody that's
understand that-
unbiased
I
and
just,
is looking
okay.
out for the person.
Yeah, I just want them
And
to
not gonna use
understand
them.
that unfortunately, not the
Yeah.
majority, but there are payee reps. Okay, payee representatives, and who misuse the money
Right.
of the person that they are
Supposed to be taken care of.
right supposed to be taken care of, and you know, so that's why we put this in, you know, and then I would dare say you could probably get some agencies to send a letter of support for having this. Okay, I'll bet you if you contact certain agencies, and I can give you the names of some of them, who would say, yeah, you know, we'd be happy.
So if, once this is all signed in resolution and it's submitted to the DLGF, right? Like, is there any additional paperwork that can be, I guess, submitted to them, or what's the time frame of getting this to them?
So the deadline is next Monday, so it is a little tight.
Okay.
However, we do still have the rest of the week, so we could, like, with this section, I think it'd be good, kind of just writing.
Yeah,
down
even
your
if you
feedback.
don't get any support letters.
I can certainly revise like that paragraph to kind
Yeah.
of explain how some residents have unfortunately been, kind of, I guess,
Victimized basically,
Victimized.
sometimes by their own friends or
by their own
family.
family.
Right.
Most of the time,
I
that's who do
guess.
the
That's usually the ones that victimize.
Yeah,
them
yeah.
And steal their
Right.
money and
Yeah.
don't use it
How,
for the good. I don't know if
Yeah.
that can be like brought that's why in a township this size,
it's important to have.
it's important to have.
I've been 2 different, okay, I was one person's payee because the uncle and I worked together and I got him back on Social Security when he got out of prison. He was schizophrenic, okay? And the uncle told me part of the reason he went and robbed someplace was to have money for food and all that kind of
Because that's
stuff
because of
because
money.
the mother who was a payee was using.
We've seen that here too, a couple of times when people come in for township assistance too.
And you're like, you ought to be able to do it.
And it's their family, it's the sad.
Right.
thing.
And I just think having something to let them know
Yeah.
why we think this is
Yeah,
necessary.
So
absolutely.
maybe.
The other thing is number 4, where it says property inspection. I think we need to include what happened, what do you think, Ryan, at one of the apartments being Cedar Glen? Because you have to know this is all caused because we were paying or helping pay people's rent, not knowing they didn't have any heat. Am I correct? You all did not know you'd been paying for people who had no heat.
Good, no heat,
Did
exactly.
Cedar Glen pay the cost of the lawsuit?
To us?
Yeah.
No.
Ryan, do me a favor. Don't hold your hand up to your mouth,
Oh,
so I
sorry.
can hear you.
I
So,
believe part of the settlement agreement with that was that Portage Township opted for the money that was,
oh,
the Attorney General was going to give to Portage Township for their attorney's fees. We wanted it to go to the people
Red-
as far as rent, as
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of whatever rental. That's what
but
we
well,
wanted.
my thinking behind that is like, that could be used as evidence of the cost of not having inspections.
Yeah,
Right,
that's good
essentially.
too. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, the
If
correct,
you're paying like one or two inspectors, I think it was what, 25,000 a year? I mean,
and they were paid,
That's easily
That's a
what
simple
probably,
lawsuit.
yeah, exactly.
yeah, because I mean, I think it needs to be understood.
Mhm.
We were paying, we don't know for
Part of the
how
rent,
long,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
helping people.
Right.
And they had no heat or no hot
Mhm.
water. And that's why we want the inspection program.
Mhm.
And I think that needs to be included.
Yeah.
That or I can.
Mhm. Yeah, I can definitely revise that section and include that. And I guess, like I said, I guess I've had most of my communication with Jason through this has just been email. And so I know he did mention that position, but I think what you're saying is good to have a little bit more context to why
Why?
why the township needs this and why it's important to the residents.
Right, because here's what everybody needs to understand is in most inspections of this kind that my heat isn't working or I have no electricity or
Mhm.
the wires are falling out of is usually done by the code enforcement people of a given county or city. So
Mhm.
someone might say, well, your state or your city has code enforcement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, we're saying, but the grouping of people who this tends to happen to, they're not good at advocating for themselves.
Mhm.
Well, there's also.
They're scared.
They're scared. There's a fear
There's
that they'll
fear
be
of
ejected on the
the
streets and they don't have a whole lot of money to go get
Another
a
place.
deposit and everything else. So
Right.
yeah, that's.
And,
part of the
and
fear.
we are, by doing this, we are helping ensure
Mhm.
that,
So maybe if Andrew put a little piece in there about Cedar Glen,
yeah, I
Yeah.
think something
Positive
about
coverage.
Cedar Glen,
and why
because,
that part would be important.
yeah,
well, but we also have other inspection issues in the city recently, right? That could also be used as
Yes,
evidence. 'Cause
yes.
if those had come to us, it would have been the same thing.
Mhm.
There's
Places
some
broke
apartments
down,
that are
the kids
bed
in it.
Well, the Port Street one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few lately
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
show
Six
there's a
children, they
need for
think it may, I don't even know if there was actually an actual resolution of what,
Mhm.
if it was faulty
Well, there
electrical
had
wiring or
been,
what, but
Hmm.
6 children died.
there had been
Wow.
an inspection there
Mhm.
before.
And they
And
said
they-
it's not a good place to be.
For,
Where at?
housing, I think it was for housing or Section 8, so they moved the family.
Yeah.
So that landlord just rented to somebody else.
yeah.
Wow.
And I just think that will go a long way in
Yeah,
explaining.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Thank you for providing that extra detail for me.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think, like I said, that.
It looks like a very nice presentation.
Thank you. And like I said, we want to include as much
So
detail as
hope- yeah,
possible.
but
And
that- We just have to,
kind of now that I know more of like
Why we
the
put it,
township needs
yeah.
it, I can definitely put that
Yeah.
into our appeal.
we can go down and speak if they let us.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to
They're
go
not-
down.
they're
I'm ready to
not
go
gonna-
down for
they're
that
not
one.
gonna let you.
But they're not gonna let us,
No.
but if they did, we'll go, you and I.
Mhm.
All right, I'll make
All right,
sure that
so-
they'll do the,
How we feeling, yeah?
So we
I'm trying to-
signed
I'm trying to
this with
keep
the
us on track, too.
understanding
I have this one here, I have all of them here for you.
that this is gonna be changed, that one
Yeah.
page. Okay.
Yeah, what I'll do is, so this is our resolution. So for this packet, what we'll need is we'll just need, I guess, you guys
These
can vote
signatures.
on it. Right. This will be the document that you'll all sign and this will be put in the packet.
Okay.
But I have all these other ones, so I'll just have them as part of these, but you guys have to vote on it, right?
We haven't voted
Yeah.
yet.
So I make a
Yeah, oh, sorry.
motion.
No, I will make sure that, yeah.
Are we adjusting it then to?
Yeah, we're gonna add, it's gonna add.
Add some additional detail. And what I can do is, Lana, I don't know if I can make those edits and then send you kind of a revised copy and if
I
you'd be
can
able
forward
to.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to make sure we're all set, make sure it looks good.
Mhm.
Like I said, we have until Monday to submit, but obviously
We don't wanna wait that long.
Right. So ideally, if we can get this submitted tomorrow, that'd be
Right,
ideal.
and I'm not gonna worry about trying to hunt up,
Some
agencies to
agencies
send
give you
support
letters.
letters.
Mhm.
And, now, if they turn us down, is there an appeal process?
That I don't have the answer off the top of my head. I can look into that.
Okay, I'd like to know
see.
that.
I can see what the kind of the follow process, should it get rejected, what that would look like, and I can get that back to you as well.
And, so maybe just in case, okay, I will try to find at least 2 agencies or whatever that would be willing to write a letter in support of paying. And we can kind of have them on the side just in case there's an appeal. What do you think?
I think,
I
you
mean, I
can't
think
never
it'd
have
be
enough.
pretty easy to contact Real Services and ask. who
Yeah,
can write
real
something there.
services.
Any of the, shelters or,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, there's plenty of them, I'm sure you
Right.
could just give a call and. let
And
them
just,
do it.
even though we may not have it for, when it goes in this time, we have it as a, just in case. Okay, yeah, but I'd like to know about, is there an appeal process if they turn you down?
Absolutely, yeah. I can look into that, and then kind of once I get this edited, I can include that kind of with my email to Lana.
Okay, it's a nice document.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So I will motion to approve with the, beefed up justifications that we've discussed. And we're
Yep.
gonna use those exact words.
I second.
All right, resolution 28, 2024 is passed.
Yep.
Now we gotta sign a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep, and
Let me get
you
my
guys wanna
agenda.
sign all this before I go on real quick for the?
Yeah, let's
Like,
sign it
can I do
before I
that real
get,
quick? This starts with the minutes first, if you wanna
Okay.
like all of those, so you got a pen?
you know, I
Or
need
no?
a pen.
Okay, so then I guess, I think you can leave, right?
Yeah,
Are you done?
unless there's other questions.
Unless anybody has any other questions for,
Like I said,
I mean, you can stay.
I can email you the, updated,
Version. Yeah.
updated version of the appeal.
Uh-huh.
You can forward that out just so we get it, everyone gets, we get their approval on it,
Yeah.
and then we can,
Yeah,
get
exactly.
it submitted.
And I
Yeah,
will
Lana,
have him
can I
sign that
see-
in the morning, yes,
Can I tell you what I recommend?
yes.
If you could go back and easily, not doing any extra work, pull how many people we had been paying part of their rent
Before we do.
before, and then found out that they
Yeah.
were having no heat.
I think we can definitely do that for Cedar Glen,
Yeah, that's what I'm
because I
saying.
feel like I've done that once before, so yeah, I can do that.
Cause I'm thinking you had to do it in order to
I
know
think we initially did. Now on this one, you guys are gonna sign your name
for.
for, obviously, you just, on that one. Mohammed, I think there's one other out there.
Cause I think that will be another prime example,
Yeah,
to be able to say there were 32 people who we learned did not have heat for these months.
right,
And,
right, and I think we did.
but we
so you
paid
can
for them, we didn't know.
Right, and that was part of the argument, I think, with the lawsuit to make them fix that stuff, was that, government agency was paying rental assistance and they didn't have any.
I'm working with Rodney.
Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm working with Rodney. And, I'm gonna go to their meeting and I'm gonna try to explain that they need to keep documenting, cause they're saying, oh, we didn't have hot water for these days, that they gotta keep
They gotta
documenting
keep
that.
back, and Rodney's told them that too.
So
Yeah,
do I
I've
need to
heard him.
put another signature on this one? Or is
Oh,
Jason?
Jason.
No, Jason's gonna attest. There's one, I think, I need to look through one of these, but it might not have to do with over here, so, okay, so we're good, right?
I think so.
All right.
I'll send you that updated version
Thank you.
tomorrow. And then I'll also send over the certification. I'll get that scanned.
Awesome, and I'll vice versa for you. Thank you, sir.
Nice meeting you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
so can I ask you just a quick question? So if I do get some support letters in time, how should they refer? I'm in support of what?
Library. Someone there, all right, one.
Oh, I know, I've worked at the library.
Sending them to us.
Yes. I'm telling you, I worked at the library and you should see the number of people that would come in about issues that they had no heat and my sister's swiping my social security money. And quite honest, there was no place to send them other than Adult Protective Services. And they might get something figured out, but then they couldn't figure out who's gonna manage the money. So how should I say I'm in support of?
It'd probably be maybe like in support of the township.
I'm in support of Portage Township,
St. Joseph County hiring
okay,
a full-time,
oh, okay,
maybe dedicated
Okay, offering the services of Social Security pay rep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Because, and trust me, they know the because.
Mhm.
Okay, got you.
Awesome, sweet. Thank you guys for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The next item, which is the real services, senior programming building that is going to be residing, yep, at, 133 North William, the former home of
Oh, is it?
the trustee. This is the, I call it the junior one. I mean, I don't know if that's, the one that, just the little senior center that collaboration we're going in with real services.
Yeah.
Jason wanted me to let you know that they sent out requests for 3 bids.
Mm-hmm.
2 came and showed up at the building to look at it, and only 1 actually bid it, which is the one you see in front of you.
Okay.
Sikowski Construction, and it came in around $48,000. They're not gonna be doing a whole lot. They're gonna take down the front wall, that was the,
Where the security stuff we added.
yep, yep. Let's see what goes with.
What do they mean by shift offices?
Where does it say shift office?
It's-
Make shift offices complete.
I will vote for it, but
I know,
Oh, that's probably the temporary offices that are part of that wall.
I would say
Okay.
yes, because they're taking
Okay.
out all of that and making
Okay,
it
okay,
wide
I
open
got
for the
you.
seniors. I know they're gonna leave, the former offices of like Jason's, mine,
Right.
break room, the ones in the back, because there may be, some real services people that, for services for seniors too.
right, that could go there
And
and
they're just gonna make the office space, or the area office out front where they're knocking down the front wall, like
Yeah.
wide open. So
right.
they can, have senior exercise classes or other functions there.
Okay.
I think they may be looking into, I'm trying to see if they,
Okay, I
I know we
like that
talked about the
ADA
floor.
door. I like that
yes,
ADA
oh yeah,
door.
I did actually, Cheryl point that out because I said they need an
Yes.
ADA door.
Mhm.
I thought, demolishing case, I didn't know whether,
Yeah, removing the carpet is
Yeah.
good. It's hard to roll wheelchairs. My dad was. in a
well, we were talking about
wheelchair.
the flooring, like in general out there, I don't know whether
Right.
that was included in there, but to make it a little, like, less, like slip proof. For seniors, but I'm not sure yet
Yeah.
if that is. I think the goal is to get this started the next month or so.
Right.
Sikowski feels very confident about having it done by the end of the year.
Right.
And then, we are waiting, again, have a agreement.
I know what the tombstones are. They're that raised thing in the floor.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a plug.
Yeah, that almost all
Yeah,
tripped over.
yeah, you remember from, and then the next phase is Jason's gonna have, at least, they'll be drawn up with real services for 0, but between us and them, operating it, and so I'm pretty excited about it, so.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
am
you guys
too.
all too.
We don't
Thank you
have-
for the suggestion.
Do we need to vote on this?
No, I think he wanted to,
No.
yeah, he wanted you to be in the know about
Right.
that. So. I don't know if the next, are you gonna get more suckers?
No. I'm going to the trash can.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. Which is,
Oh,
is there
I
any,
probably took your pen.
No, Ryan was, me and Ryan was sharing.
are you moving on to,
Yep.
old?
Old business.
Okay, so I'm done with this.
Yep, and then I think there's no old business, right?
Oh, hold on, I'm lost.
Not that I know of.
Oh, it's just on the agenda. Oh, thank you. Right?
Yeah, it's just on the front page of the.
Okay. Then we got this. We're doing right.
And then the next is the budget assistance, which is poor relief, which of our $900,000 budget, it looks like we have about $281,000 left.
Mhm.
We have, I will make a note, it's kind of a weird year. We have seen more people in the last 2 weeks than a couple of the weeks during the summer months when we really usually get busy. And Jason had run some stats on it. I don't think he brought it in here, which was like our June numbers for 24 were down from our June of 23. However, the last 2 to 3 weeks has been this insane influx of people in here for electric,
Mhm.
gas, obviously, because it's starting to get colder.
Can I tell you something?
Hmm.
So. School corporations got COVID money, right?
Right.
And they just finally spent all of it. If you didn't spend it by the next I think last week, then all that you lost all those funds,
Okay,
right? And so that could be what's happening. Like,
Well-
these places could just be like,
well, there's
running out.
two other things going on now too, which is interesting, which I'm not sure if the public's aware of, which is the IHCDA program through the ERA will be ending at the end of this year. And Jamie, our office administrator, and Jeannie, our one of our intake clerks, she went over for a couple hours, but Jamie worked the whole thing because Real Services was over there helping people who didn't have their applications finished, because at the end of the year, that program's finishing up, and they were paying several months in chunks of change
Right.
on people's rent. So Jamie said, I haven't had a real chance because it's been insane this afternoon because she came back about 3. But she said it was pretty busy because they were trying to help people to finish up the finish line. But that's what also makes us appeal, that we've got to be able to do it, because I see more people coming to us next year. The rental assistance is going to hop back up to what it was. And Real Services EAP program, I mean, it's not confirmed 100%, but I'm not so sure. They have the program this year, but I'm not so sure they're going to be giving out as much money as they were. So, and that's going to become a,
And we have to
another
be
burden.
realistic, depending on who wins the election
Mhm.
for the president can depend down the line for the next few years.
Of
How
aid.
much money is put into these kind of programs.
Exactly.
These are not
And I mean,
some,
Right.
some people who are elected officials are not for these programs at the national level.
agreed.
Mhm.
And I mean, some of those things aren't 100% confirmed. I mean, IHCDA is ending. Real Services, we just are trying to get a clearer picture on, because before they would have like crisis funds and maybe pop $500 and or whatever once or twice during the season. It may be scaled back to $100 or $200. That's not 100% confirmed, but we are kind of monitoring that to see. The other
Okay.
thing is like the Croc Center for the rest of the year has no more project or team heat money. They're focusing their efforts on both Thanksgiving and Christmas because they're doing like the Angel Tree Project and
Okay.
some other things. And I think John Pinter's group, which is um, I can't think of what it is now. The United.
I know.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
know
It's
what you're talking about.
they're out of team heat money too. So, there's this
Everybody's out.
concern of, and we're seeing people's, by the way, electric or gas bills right now coming in, and I don't even know how people, $2,400. I'm like, I don't even know how that's all gonna be accomplished.
I
you
have
know?
a friend that
So-
lives in public housing, okay, because this is public housing, it's the independent houses.
Mhm.
Her gas bill, no, her electric bill is easily $400
Well, and that's part of the problem when
every
it's,
month.
because of everything's electric too.
Well, no, hers is because it needs to be rewired. I mean,
Well-
she's been told by the actual electrician who came in and looked at her place
Yeah.
for the housing authority
Yeah.
that it needs to be rewired.
Yeah.
Okay. She's one of those products of stuff that should have been worked on over the years because she's been there, I don't know, at least 10 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the man said, there's nothing we can do about your electric. The place needs to be rewired.
That goes back to somehow the home inspection program too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that's part of the problem we see too, sometimes when they do have these crazy high bills or whatever
Yeah.
is issues like that, that they say that they begged and pleaded with their landlords for. So I'm not gonna put all the brunt on landlords because I can't say that, but
Right.
it's definitely an issue. So
Well, yeah, this
we
makes
still
sense.
do have funds left, but like I said, the rainy day fund still has about $24,000 in it. The admin looks a little in the negative, but there is gonna have to be at some point this year with Jason, an appropriation back, like the reimbursement of
Mhm.
using the funds for the building and also the fire territory.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the
But we'll
fire
get
people
more into the
will owe
meat
us
and
some
that,
money.
yeah, exactly, so that will, and we did set that up recently, and now we just need to get that rolling. Also documented in here is the health grant budget, which Connor is gonna speak about in a minute, but this is documenting everything from our program coordinator, Connor, and his benefits to all items that are put in here. And we get through the grant, we're reimbursed for a lot of these items. The only thing that we're not is the food part that we provide. So
Right.
it's like an operational cost that luckily this year Connor has worked with Meyer and Costco, and we have gotten some funds that we have, one of them were gift cards. We used to purchase some of the food for these
Mhm.
classes. And then the other one was we deposited in the bank, the
Mhm.
funds and offset that, but he's gonna talk about a little 2025 in a minute. We're done with that. So that, this just documents that grant, and then I think that's just the total of that. Facilities,
You know, coming on forward,
uh,
what I'd like to see for this food grant is a line that tells us how much was donated.
okay,
You know, like how much did Myers donate? How much did
maybe keep you up to date on that.
Costco? Yeah, well, only because I think
Okay.
when you're figuring, like, say you wanna go to a different place for grant money one time.
Right. We kind
You
of
may
know,
forget
right,
to include the food,
right.
and that can really go up. So,
Well, yeah.
donations and then.
And
the
I
fly.
think that's the thing, and Connor and Jason and I talked about that a little, in depth. That's one of those items that it's not hugely expensive. It's important for it to be part of this budget and for us to use it for that, because it is such an impact, not just for someone to go to these cooking classes
Right,
and watch it, but to literally take home all the product in this bag
you're
and
right,
go make it for their family of 4.
right,
And everything is even measured out, sometimes like the oil or the
Right.
salt and pepper. And
right,
it's impactful sending them home with that and that recipe. So they've gone to class, and it's brought a lot of repeat customers, and it's brought a lot of buzz, again, stuff that Connor will
Right.
touch
Right.
on in a minute, but exactly right, that we document who are receiving those funds, and keep those relationships, I say, going forward,
right.
to get those
And then,
funds
again,
for things that these grants will
because
not
those,
cover.
you know,
because the
when you're
food
doing
is
grants,
expensive. 30
you can,
people a class is a lot.
when you're doing grants, you
Mhm.
can count in kind as part of your
Correct. You are correct.
matching.
In kind, yeah, you can.
This form looks like it's all messed up.
What are you looking at?
The percentages are reversed, maybe? Appropriated shelter 200,000, expenditure 148%, total expended 23%.
That's really odd. I
Yeah,
don't
I've
know.
been staring at this like nothing you said makes sense, because all
Um,
of these numbers are not being attributed.
Well, I think it's saying, because like if you look on the original appropriation, 22% of Poor Relief's budget is appropriated for shelter.
Okay, hold on, let me find that.
So
Is this what you're talking about right
what I
here?
don't think that this number in Lao, and I can verify, yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at the percentage, the first one is percentage of total appropriation.
Mm-hmm.
22% of the whole poor relief budget is for shelter. So then they're saying expenditure wise, for how much money you've spent, 23% of the 3,000 series was spent on shelter. But that doesn't give you the percentage of, we have a $200,000 budget and.
That's what it used to be, I thought. That's why I was staring at this like, what? What's going
I'm
on?
gonna say that 36% of our, it looks like if you look at the far right, 36% of our budget for,
Shelter.
no, I take that back, 25%, because you gotta go up one.
Okay.
25.69 of this year's shelter budget has not been expended.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, they're coming in hot and heavy, so,
So what this says is that of the overall budget, okay, 22% of the overall budget was for shelter.
The original appropriation, that's
Right, but
correct.
then the 25.69% is of the 2,000, right?
Of the unexpended so far,
Okay, I
200,000 of
got
the
you.
shelter, yes. So I'm gonna say,
And there used to be a breakdown by month, so we kind
Yeah.
of see those trends.
oh, I see what you're saying. So I'm gonna need to make a note that you see the trends of, I'm gonna make a note of that
That was
for expended, which Jason, yes. He's very good at expenditures. So you can see how much per month, dollar wise, is being spent, like in June for electric, and July and August and
Mhm.
September, and gas and water and shelter and burial. I will say food is way up too.
Right.
We spent 6,000 last year giving food and non-food for Save a Lot. And so far this year, our budget was 20,000, I think, but let me see if we are at.
You actually went over 800.
Mm-hmm. We already spent $20,000 and that's as of the end of September. So, you know.
And I can
obviously
tell
there's
you
a
why
real
some
need.
of that's happening. Some of that is happening because the lunch programs are over with.
What's next
Hmm.
on our agenda? It's 6:15.
Oh, yeah, we gotta keep rolling. So facilities, there's no real update, I don't believe. Obviously, we know what's going on with this building and we know what's going on with William Street. I don't think, you know, what we're doing with both buildings, the St. Joe County Fire Territory and Southwest Fire Territory. Is there much new, exciting?
I mean, that's all, we've already discussed all that. So.
Okay.
And then Connor, I think you are, Connor, yes. Could you go over, for the board, I think, and tell about your the 2025 Portage Township submission for the new health grant?
Yeah.
That we were asking for?
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
All right. To kind of back up before the health grant, we had a pretty great roundtable meeting because I don't think we've talked since we had this. We brought a lot of community partners together. It's really exciting. I'm super thrilled about it because we can now say that, you know, Cultivate Food Rescue and the Food Bank of Northern Indiana are willing to work with us on our food assistance going forward. If either that be our food pantry, our Nourish classes, what have you. They're both on board to kind of work with us in a greater capacity. We have officially submitted our 2025 request for proposal from the Health First Indiana Fund, given out by the Health Department of St. Joe County. At the end of the year, we will be taking all of the data that we have collected and putting it in a pretty readable map so you can see where people are attending classes the most, who is attending these classes, age, things like that, and addresses to really show you where at in the township people are coming from. Next year, we're looking to expand, obviously, going in with our mobile market unit. I'm reaching out to Lippert to see if they might be able to donate us a unit. The funny part about the health grant money is you can't actually use it to buy a bus or anything that we would like to use. So part of that will be either through a community partnership or we will also be using a Walmart grant. That's kind of what I'm going to meet with our consultant to talk about this week. And that Walmart grant will be pretty significant amount of money, so that we'll use that for some of our operational costs, like food that we were talking about. We'll use it to, if we need to get a bus, we'll be able to use that money for that. And then going with that, we're expanding our cooking classes. We want to start doing some at the senior center that will be opening up. I know last week I kind of asked the class if were interested in an air fryer class, and everyone unanimously agreed. A lot of people want to know how to use
For an air
those.
fryer class.
What do you say? I couldn't understand.
He said last week in class, he asked if they would be interested in an air fryer class, and they unanimously agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I need to go to that class.
We'll be there.
I still don't know how to work my air fryer correctly.
Exactly. So just kind of expanding that. We'll hear back from the health department on whether or not we need to do any budget revisions for next year within the next week or so. And they should award the grants going into November.
Okay.
So this November, right? Like next month?
Yep.
For Cheryl, you did see all these, right? At the other meeting?
Oh, yeah, I like
Connor was
those.
showing the Nourish apron, which are on the table, just to say your great idea.
Yeah.
And Connor, real quick, what a big hit those are, right?
Oh, they are. They're actually, people love them. It's kind of funny. We also give them out to all the kids that show up for free too, which has
Kids
been really
too.
fun.
Oh, I'm glad you have kids ones.
Yeah.
That's Cheryl's
Cheryl,
idea,
to-
Connor, so I had to make sure she got credit for it.
Yeah, no worries. Cheryl, to speak on your point that you made in our last board meeting about getting some cooking.
I'm sorry to
books.
do this to all of y'all.
Yeah, you're really quiet.
Hold on a second, Connor, can you talk a little?
Yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
saying words now.
Okay.
Any better?
Yeah.
All right. Cheryl, to your point last meeting that we had together, you wanted to do some cookbooks. So we have a little bit of remaining funds this year in our budget. And I wanted to kind of put together a printed out cookbook from like our community meals we've done together, and anyone who wants to kind of submit
So we could kind of even do like a crowdsourced printed book that people get at the end of class. I think that would be pretty cool.
Okay, here's a problem about sometimes soliciting recipes from other people. They
Yeah.
can be the most unhealthy recipes you've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I will go back, and if nothing else, I'll bring you my cookbooks that I have that are healthy cooking, not that I cook.
Yeah.
Or should we make it a collection of the ones from the Nourish class that we've had so far? Cause there's.
Yeah,
several
those are
in there.
healthy.
I think that's a good idea.
Right, but maybe
Yeah.
adding, like, I hate to say this, but like macaroni and cheese, how you cook it healthy.
Yeah, no,
Or-
for sure. We
Yeah.
actually had that specific
Yes, you
class
do.
earlier
It's my
this
guilty
year.
pleasure.
Yeah, we did a vegan
But I'll
mac and
drop
cheese.
off my cookbooks, okay? Because I have several healthy food cookbooks, and one of them was from the U.S. government.
All right, right on. Please, I want that. So yes.
So I'll drop that off tomorrow.
All right, and that's kind of where I stand, guys. Not to take up too much of your time here.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I love what's going on here with that.
Yeah.
There is a buzz board. There is
Yeah, I've
a
had
buzz out there.
a couple people mention it to me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Great work, Connor.
All right, thanks, Connor.
Thank you.
See ya.
The only other thing, thank you, community, I don't know if we have much to talk about. Jamie and I went on Jason's behalf, because that's when he left to go out of town, to the opening of YSB,
Okay.
which we are hoping to do, like, some more partnerships. We did, obviously you guys authorized $10,000 that we did initial
Mm-hmm.
agreement with them for this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they probably want to talk in the next couple months about maybe some future collaborations, because if you guys haven't had a chance to tour it yet, it's a great facility, much bigger than their other one, and it'll be able to help a lot of other.
Where is it?
It's
McKinley?
over McKinley and Hickory. It's, if you know, it used
Where
to
the
be
old
like a
Target
field,
used to
so
be.
where the old Target used to be, it's like there was a big field part that I think
Mhm.
Frank Perry owned, maybe,
Yeah.
and donated the
I
land.
think so, yeah.
So we went to it, and Jamie and I did, the grand opening. It was a great,
If I don't send it to you,
yeah.
next week, St. Vincent sign up for Christmas basket and toys.
Okay.
And I'll check for Salvation Army, and it's online.
The people have to go online and
They have
sign
to
up
go
for it?
online. There's no more coming in person, and they help you fill out the application.
What is that?
Christmas dinner and gifts for the kids, St. Vincent sign up next week.
Croc,
And it's real limited, narrow time.
okay. Croc is getting ready to do something like that too. I think a Thanksgiving box
Mm-hmm.
and
But they also do toys. Croc also does
toys, but I think they may be doing something similar, which I'll try to,
Right,
you bring that and I'll bring the other one for that.
okay,
And I still don't know what, like last year, Portage Township did, where we adopted, I think, some kids
Mhm.
through, was it CASA maybe too? I feel like it was, but anyways, we got listing of so many kids, like a boy that's 5 and a girl that's 3 and like is into this kind of stuff, and we kind of all went out and bought, went shopping and put together stuff for them, and that was really cool. I don't know if I've been in contact. I don't think Jason has either. Like last year, Bill Redmond was the sheriff's department was giving out turkeys at Thanksgiving, and wanted to see if, any of
Your people, our people.
I wanted it, but I don't know where that stands. And I will say a couple other things before I forget, which is mark your calendars. Well, a couple of things. Well, there's the pancake breakfast right at the fire station out at.
There's a few fire territory items I'd like to address, if that's okay.
Can y'all email that out with the dates and times?
We'll email it out because, real quick, as part of Community Codes for Kids is the last Sunday. It's gonna be this year 3 to 5, not 1 to 3, because Meyer had some logistical reasons and stuff. So anybody, I know Muhammad came last year.
I'll try it.
I think Jason has, and I'll make sure that you see that again.
Last Sunday
Right,
of
so-
October?
Yes, which is the 27th or 8th. I'm sorry, I just.
Is it 27? You know what? I'll definitely be there. I'm on fall break.
You were great. Last year, Muhammad, didn't you? Yeah, I was 27th. Yeah, so be for the Portage Road, Meyer again, and Muhammad could, obviously not speak to, but it was a lot of fun. I manned the cash register stations with the cashiers to make sure they brought up their vouchers, and we cross-referenced them and what
Right.
the kids were, and overall, that.
And we don't pay taxes on it, do we?
Right.
Cause
That's
we're
correct.
non-profit.
Right, we wrote the check
governmental.
at the end and it went pretty smooth and I felt like, it was fun and the real little kids, whatever, if they're putting their boots or their new, cause
Mm,
some, whatever was fun, I thought, like they were getting their brand new
Right.
jacket and hat and everything. and stuff
Where
like
do
that.
you stand about how many kids so far?
I wanna say, the last time I checked the list, it was around 50 to 60. We were trying to shoot for 100.
Okay.
Jason put another push out on social media, or had Connor do that.
I think I put it on my Facebook.
Yes, and I think Jason actually, I know, I don't know. Jason, I think also sent.
Have you all notified the social workers?
Well,
For
Jason,
the school system?
I don't know if he, the school systems, but I know he reached out to a lot of community leaders and said, hey, you know, we've got the coats for kids. We want people to come in and apply. We want to try to get them coats, but I'd have to ask. him
Could
if
you
he has
give me
kind of
some
push-
flyers?
Yeah,
I come by and pick them up tomorrow.
okay, yeah, I'll make sure you have.
And I
those.
will take them to, I'll take them to the parochial schools where they have a bigger poor population, like Saint Adelbert,
Right.
Our Lady of Hungary, Saint Kashmir.
And I think it's at the not the fire station, the South Bend Police Department, but on Tuesday, the 29th
is,
is, Cops and Goblins.
it's supposed to be down at Century
I'm
Center.
gonna be back.
Is it?
It's supposed to be at Century Center
I
this year.
I don't know.
Cops and Goblins.
All the
I don't either.
toning.
It's a Tuesday from like 5 to,
Right.
in the Portage Township. It'll be me, Jamie, Connor, and Jason will be there. And we're trying to find a theme to dress up and have candy for the kids.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going.
Anybody have any suggestions for that? I'm like, ugh.
I'm gonna be,
We did Ghostbusters.
I'm gonna be Flavor Flav.
I'll tell you where you can get a cheap,
Give me a big bucket.
I'll tell
I was
you,
Flavor Flav a couple years ago, I promise.
I'll tell you where you can get like an adult cartoon cheap.
Where?
It's where the old Christmas tree shop used to be
Okay.
on Grape Road.
Uh-huh.
And there's a place that's Buy Me or something like that. They have adult costumes galore.
It's called Buy Me?
Huh?
What's it called?
Fires burning.
Buy something.
That's awesome.
Is it, you
Yeah.
been in there?
Yeah.
Okay, Sam can
I
attest
can
to it too.
attest.
Cheryl can attest to it.
Yeah.
It must be.
It's like adult costumes are under $10.
Yeah.
And they're not cheesy adult costumes.
No, they're nice.
There's some that were
Really?
$39, $49, yeah.
What is this place?
It's like a surplus stuff. They get a ton of Target stuff from last year or, clear
So
out.
it's
where-
gonna, want to be Flavor Flav too.
Yeah, but
You don't have to come to that one. You don't have to come, we will make sure you have flyers for that. But we'll make sure that you see the email again. But yeah, Coats for Kids is, I thought, Mom, and you probably could speak on it too,
Yeah, I'll
was
be there.
was
I'll
wonderful.
be there for sure.
It was, I thought it was just fun. It was cool. It was nice. So that's, I think, all in community world. So you have a couple of things before you wrap up.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that all of our firefighters just submitted to background tests this week and drug testing as part of the onboarding process. So we're
So how many firefighters do we have?
37.
How many do we need?
We're scaling up to 45.
so do we still need more?
We hope to scale up to 45 through 2025.
Well, I'm lost. How many do we need?
I don't have the final number.
Okay.
No, but that depends on if the territory grows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Cause I know a lot of the people at Center stayed at Center.
I think Southwest, I think there was
Yeah.
only a couple, right?
That came over.
7.
7.
Yeah, I know that.
I think Olive Warren, right?
Or 41, all Warren.
Oh, yeah, how do you want the new ones? They were-
So,
That's all I have.
All right, I'm adjourning this meeting now.
I second.
There was one quick thing I wanted to mention.
Hold on, we can't adjourn yet.
One thing I talked to Jason about is possibly trying to, since we're looking at doing the stuff here, looking at some other things around this area, and I keep thinking we've got like that cool basic artist community over here.
uh-huh.
So I had actually reached out to Rocky Button to just send them the survey, but I was also thinking it might be interesting to think about ways we could do like an artist event right? Like the Monroe Street Art Studios there,
Mhm.
there's another gallery in that building.
Mhm.
And that's an area that could use some support, and I was like supporting artists, so
Don't Alex still live there?
I don't know. I will.
We could buy some artwork.
No, you can't. That artwork's expensive.
But I mean, we could also talk to DTSB, like, hey, I know we always have Art Beat every year. What do you think about doing something just to promote this area?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
as something
actually, that would be.
Is Willow still running?
Yeah.
She's a good.
So just some thoughts since we're over here
Oh,
and looking at doing things in the community.
yes, because we're always looking to do things in the community, absolutely. I will bring that up, and we will bring that up for, I believe at the next meeting will not be until the, is it Thursday, third Tuesday, right?
Is it third Tuesday?
Or is
I
it
don't
second
know.
Tuesday? I don't know.
My phone just tells me every.
Yep.
It reminds you, you need to be there in a half
I
hour.
got the Brian Stevenson message. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna miss Brian tonight.
Yeah.
On the 19th of November.
Well, I don't have any
That's right before
questions.
Thanksgiving.
We could move to adjourn now.
Okay, I moved that we adjourn the
I
meeting.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, turn off the camera.
The guy you sent me,
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.